Going back into talking about my relationship with my father, I get sad sometimes because of the way we don't communicate with each other. I watch other people communicate with their father and the bond that they have, and I sometimes wish that I had the same with mine. Over the years, our communication is kind of weird, as I can explain. When we see each other, we don't talk. We only shake hands. We don't hug. We never told each other that we love each other, and I think that a father and a daughter should always tell each other this. Whenever I watch my dad and how he treats my younger siblings, I sometimes get jealous because I feel like, or I wonder why he never treats me like that. With my younger sibling, she's only 9 years old, and he treats her like a princess. I don't like to compare myself with her because she is my sister, but I don't think it's fair that he treats her better than he treats me or my other siblings. Me and my dad never talked about the way that we treat each other. There was one time that we both got into an argument, and I can tell you the same exact day. It was my day of my prom, and I went to visit my grandmother before I went to my prom. My stepmother and my father were in the living room, and my father has a drinking problem. So we got into a conflict because he was drunk, of course. So he took me in the back room and told me that one day I'm going to need him and that I should start treating him better. In the back of my mind, I'm very upset and I'm wondering, why is my father telling me this? All I wanted to do was to see him before I go off to prom. But I had to remember that he was drinking, and I was also younger, and I didn't want to talk back to my father. So I went back to closing off and not talking back to him because I was angry, and that was my way of showing my feelings, by not talking. I think that it's important to express your feelings, whether that person is in the right or if they're in the wrong, because once again, that's the way of communicating with that person. I think I've changed drastically because of my attitude, being able to, instead of closing off, I tend to just go ahead and sit down with the person and talk to them. Now me and my father, even though we used to argue in the past, we don't speak to each other. It's the same thing. I just think that talking would release some of the pain that I feel inside with my father. Going on back to my senior year in college, I'm now working at Buffalo Wild Wings. I wanted to talk about working at Buffalo Wild Wings because this is another place that helped me grow with my attitude and communicating styles. My communicating styles grew because of having customers and employees and having to talk with my managers there. I get a different personality while serving there at Buffalo Wild Wings every day. Whether it's a family, whether it's a couple, whether it's someone that I don't even know, or whether it's somebody I do know. I learn something different every day because I have to communicate with my tables in order to get what they want. By communicating with my tables, I learned that being nice sometimes can get you a long life. When I say this because sometimes I have rude tables, and the rude tables sometimes affect me. Instead of lashing out on my tables, I just go somewhere and I keep calm and release my anger there. I think having a serving job is a great way to have good communication skills, because you have to communicate to your tables and learn about them and learn and connect with them to get their order right and to make sure that they're happy. I'm saying all of this because over the years, from my sophomore year to my senior year in college, I have learned so much about myself that I never knew. I learned that I can help people by talking to them. I learned that pushing myself off can push others off. And that sometimes having friends isn't the best thing for me. But I've met good people and I've met bad people. And I would just like to end this presentation by thanking you for listening to how I've grown and to how I wasn't growing and to how I have grown my senior year in college. Thank you.